Hey guys, so today's video is
My thoughts on the characters and their relationships and ships and romance and whatnot. So, yeah. Okay, so the next category I want to get into, or the next thing I want to talk about, are the characters. So, I think that this season was very good for all of the characters, except for maybe Carmi, but I'll talk about him last and go more depth into his character later. So, in this season, we get to see different sides of the characters and learn more about them. For example, we learn a little bit more about Marcus when he goes to Copenhagen, and we learn more about Sydney and her relationship with her father. I especially enjoyed Richie getting his sort of redemption arc because I think that in season one, his character was very annoying, but in this season, he tries to right his wrongs and tries to become a better version of himself, and it was really beautiful to see. And I think that now I don't know if this is just the actor, but Richie has like a very deep sadness in his eyes, and after he spends a week working at this high class, high intensity restaurant just polishing forks, he finally finds his purpose, and you can see the shift of him going from like sad and purposeless and lost and confused to becoming happy. And I really enjoyed that episode. I think that, like I said before, the best episode this season was episode 6, and then episode 7 was immediately right after. I think it was at the end of the episode. I really enjoyed the scene where he was driving in his car and he was listening to Taylor Swift, and you can, like, he was so happy, like he was smiling and bumping to his music. He was really happy, and it literally made me smile, and I was giggling. I was like, oh, like if I actually knew him, like if he was a real person, and because these characters, they just feel so real. So like when something happens to them, you can't help but feel what they feel. You can't help but empathize with the characters. So like if they're happy, you feel happy. If they're sad, you feel sad because they're so real. They feel like real people. So yeah, I'm just happy for him. I'm happy that he finally feels like he belongs, and he's kind of found his purpose. So yeah, I'm really excited for him. Well, I think that, yeah, I'm just gonna talk about Carmi now. So Carmi, oh my god, this Carmi, this man needs therapy so bad. Like he, I think that Carmi is a chronic self sabotager, and listen, from since season one, Carmi, he curses people out a lot and he says a lot of mean things. But I think that, or I don't think that, I know that that's because of the trauma from living in such a chaotic and dysfunctional household. So that's kind of the only way he knows how to communicate. So I don't necessarily get mad at him because I know that he has a lot of love for his family. When I say family, I mean like his newfound family, like, Sydney, Richie, etc., etc. And I think that this kind of leads me into what I want to talk about next, and that's like romance and relationships and ships and whatnot. Like ships. So in this season, Carmi gets a love interest. And his love interest is a woman named Claire, who he used to be friends with as a child. And he had a big crush on her, and he runs into her, etc., etc. They begin dating. So I felt like Carmi and Claire didn't have a lot of chemistry, so the scenes between them were kind of hard to watch. But I think that this relationship might have been purposeful because it really highlighted the chemistry or romantic tension between Sydney and Carmi. Because you could tell that anytime Carmi brought up Claire in conversation, Sydney became kind of jealous. Like you could hear it in her voice. And I could be wrong, but I believe that Carmi and Claire's relationship was also created to have Carmi have a kind of breakdown, because I think that I'm not a therapist or a doctor or anything, but I think that in order to heal, you have to hit rock bottom. And I think that this might be his rock bottom, because he screwed up something in his life that seemed to be making him happy. And he felt that he didn't deserve happiness, but in coming to that conclusion, he hurt Claire's feelings, because on the opening night of the restaurant, Carmi got stuck in the walk-in, and when everybody left the restaurant, all the customers left the restaurant, Claire wanted to go speak with Carmi to like congratulate him and whatnot. And while Carmi was stuck in the walk-in, he was kind of having a breakdown a little bit, because he was literally stuck in the walk-in throughout the whole opening of the restaurant. So he didn't even get to experience the opening of his new restaurant. So he was basically having a breakdown. And then, so when the restaurant closes, like I said, Claire goes to congratulate him, and he kind of says like, I don't deserve happiness. Ever since I got into this relationship with Claire, I haven't had my head wrapped around right. Like, I don't have a strict routine. Like, he can't function without a strict routine. And he says that he doesn't see the point in their relationship anymore, basically. And she hears all that. And, well, yeah, like I said, in coming to the conclusion that he doesn't deserve love or happiness, he is kind of being selfish in a way, because then he hurts Claire's feelings. Like, he's sabotaging himself, but he's also hurting someone else's feelings. And I think that Carmi is the kind of person that doesn't like to hurt people, like you can tell. And this kind of leads me into Sydney and Carmi and their kind of relationship. So I think that Sydney and Carmi are soulmates. Like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people say, like, why can't people just have a platonic relationship? But there's nothing you can say to convince me that Carmi and Sydney are not soulmates. Because, for example, whenever Sydney is feeling some type of way, Carmi can always tell that she's feeling some type of way. And Carmi is able to let his guard down with her. On the opening day of the restaurant, they're under a table and they're fixing the table, and they both get vulnerable with one another. And they get vulnerable with one another in a way that they don't get with the people who are actually supposed to be their love interests. Like, Sydney and Marcus are supposed to get together. But there was one episode where she got mad at him, but instead of communicating her feelings to him, she kind of ignores him. So I don't know. I know Sydney and Carmi, like, I knew Sydney and Carmi were locked in when he showed her the sign for sorry. Like, that was so cute. Like, that was so cute. And every time they did it, I was like, oh my god, they're literally in love with each other. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. So, like, yeah, like I said, everyone's like, oh, why do you guys ship everyone? Like, you don't leave room for platonic relationships. Okay, and like everybody was saying, Sydney and Marcus are supposed to end up together. But Sydney and Marcus have no romantic chemistry. If they have any type of chemistry, it's platonic chemistry. Like, I can see them as friends, but nothing more. Like, when Marcus was in Copenhagen, I saw that he had more romantic chemistry with Lucas than Sydney. And honestly, I was surprised no one was talking about it, because I found it to be very apparent. Like, like in my head, I was thinking, like, wait, is Marcus gay? Because I thought he was supposed to end up with Sydney. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they'll hear our feedback and they'll do that because I simply cannot imagine Sydney and Marcus being together. Like I can't. Like Lucas, yeah, that whole sequence, like that whole Copenhagen episode with them was so cute. Like honestly, I thought that Marcus was gonna like stay in Copenhagen and like not come back. When Richie was working at the restaurant, I thought he was gonna like stay there permanently because you could tell he was really enjoying himself, and I kind of wanted him to stay there. And Marcus, he was having a blast in Copenhagen, so I was like, is he gonna stay there? And is he gonna like be in a relationship with Lucas? Like that's what I was thinking. I don't know. I wouldn't have minded that honestly. So yeah, I think that that's all I have to say about this show. Clearly I enjoyed this season and I can't wait for the next one. So let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below, cuz I'm going to be thinking about this show for a while, so I want to talk about it. So let's talk about it. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Bye.